evening. Morning to some of you somewhere in the world, but for me, it's evening. Heart a little bit heavy this evening, indeed. One of my bona fide brethren as a youth, one of my first brethren that I can remember, move on, Nigel Smith, known as Pascal, used to live just next door to me on French Avenue. And his mom and my mom used to go to Methodist Church together. So me and Nigel used to do the usual trad. Me and him and Ozzy Cunningham head on down to Methodist Church. So we got the news a couple of days ago that he died, and it was a kind of sad occasion, more so in light of the COVID pandemic that has affected so many of us. Yeah, man. So many of us have been affected, meaning not just family members have died, some of us have gotten sick, and so on. But it's life's journey. And the journey take all kind of steps. Sometimes the steps that you want to take, sometimes steps that you don't have any control over. As I speak, my stories are about life's journey. Yes, indeed. So sometimes you wonder, with the pandemic as it is, if there are other things in life that people are going to hospitals for. We kind of forget that there are other things that ails us as human beings. And indeed, there are. But we're so overwhelmed by the images that we see at the hospitals that we actually forget that there are other illnesses that befall us as human beings. However, life journey must go on, and full condolences and sympathies to the Smith family. Yes, yes, indeed. So the summer of 1975 was indeed a transitional period in my life, because at this point in time, I made a firm decision that I'm going to leave Port Antonio and move on to tertiary education. So the journey started with the usual formalities, paperwork, banking records, JP sign off on things, sponsorship, somebody who can vouch for your character and all that. And you present your papers to the Bank of Jamaica Student Loan Bureau, and you wait. So you come back to Port Antonio, during which time I got a job, a little summer job. For me, it was a summer job. But it was in fact a very interesting point for me, because I joined the forestry department. And this is when I started to realize my interest in environmental issues. Because the forestry department, with the help of the Canadian government, was providing a lot of scholarships for young people to go to Canada to get degrees in forestry management. And there were a number of people involved in forestry in Port Antonio, one of whom was a man named Edwin Pinnock. And I got a little time to get a little summer job. And he was encouraging me to, look at the avenue of becoming a forester. In the process, the Canadian government, with the Forestry Department of Jamaica, started planting a pine tree up in the Rio Grande Valley. Not the valley, but like in the Moortown area. I think up there was called Barracks and Cornwall Barracks. And they were planting the Pinus caribea. And that exposed me to really what you call sub-rural country, sub-rural Portland, how people live differently, the community spirit, how the farmers would have their cooperatives. I remember there was one farmer in the Berrydale area. His name was Birch. And I went to school with his son, Vigil Birch. He had a lot of bananas. And from that, I started to kind of get a better feel for what it meant to protect the environment. The Rio Grande Valley, remember now, we're not having the kind of quarrying that we're having now. People used to get 1 or 2 pieces of stone to build here and there, but you don't have the kind of full-scale quarrying that is taking place now. So my heart and soul was kind of embedded in the quest for environmental protection when I joined the forestry department. But my long lost feeling, my commitment to forestry wasn't really there. I just never felt it. So I went on to pursue other endeavors. And that is when I undertook to go into Kingston and start a whole new chapter in my life. Not realizing that beyond me wanting to go to Kingston, there were other youths in the community, namely Ferran and Pele, Noel Pattinger, who also were going down that path. But there were guys before us. There was what we used to call him Elspel, Michael Campbell, the trader at the control. There was Buck. There was a number of other guys, Nelson Miller, who had gone on to cast. So we had kind of seen a path laid out for us. So we never felt that we truly uncomfortable going into the Kingston environment. But let me tell you, man, when I finally left Port Antonio to go to CAS for the fall semester of 1975, September 1975. Oh, Lord. Pele, if you ever see this story, I have to tell you, man, look, there was a thing them called ragging. When new students entering tertiary institutions would come under so much pressure. It's basically torture. There were many nights when me and Pele share a room on campus because I come from country and really know about it. Very few of us had any relatives in town where we could have rent a room from or anything. So we stayed on campus for the first year. But that first year was hell and powder house, I tell you. There were many nights when me and Pele sleep standing up. I remember one night they waked us up so much through the night. A brother named Bram from Montego Bay. And him have a Chinese brother named Chucky. When the man run down the hallway and wake you up at night time, you know, and the mattress and some little sponge thing. So them soaking wet, you know, man. I remember one night they throw the water through the window and Pele frightened no time sleep and run straight into the door, you know, full-fledged. I never forget it. The books, everything, every little thing just wet up. And that persisted for weeks and months, and then there's even a bird in my mind right now, Lottie. Let me remind him of the torture that used to put us through. But this was part of our journey. This was part of our life's commitment to move beyond what we thought would have been a life of, you know, little or no production as youths, and want to get some kind of tertiary education beyond what we thought was going to be possible in a small town, Port Antonio. A small town, Port Antonio meant that if you don't work for the government, if you had gone away to be trained as a teacher and come back, if you were a policeman, if you were a teacher, if you never worked for parish council or public works, chances are there wasn't much going on. If your parents never have a business, you could have, you know, fall into place, whether it was, you know, shop or, you know, whatever it is, some kind of buy and sell thing. Chances are that you would not, your life in terms of procuring an income would have been limited. So many of us chose to move beyond the small town of Port Antonio. It did not mean for a moment, that our energies, our thoughts, our heart, our soul, our spirit was not still firmly embedded in the foundation that was laid out for us. Whether it was from infant school out of Crossroads, whether it was from primary school, whether it was from Titchfield, whether it was from Bumbook School, whether it's from Norwich School, wherever it was. But within the community of Port Antonio, Portland, that most of us came from, our journey into what we thought was bigger and brighter lights would not have been made possible without the solid commitment we had, and our parents and our community and our friends had for us, so that we could move ahead as youngsters going out into the world. But Kingston now, we are in Kingston now, and the energy, the experience, everything started to change. Where we become a little bit more conscious about the culture, the food, the poetry, dance. Yes, man. And remember now, when I talk about dance, it was a straight up dance hall, man. For King basketball. Everywhere. By this time, now, my mother had already migrated, so I had a lot of free time. And even though I would try to balance between work, little part-time work, we have a forestry department, and so on. And, you know, my mom kind of just gave me the rein, just let me loose. But I wasn't indisciplined in any kind of way. Never get in trouble with the police or anything. So I never really get in trouble. Other than the bad word cussing, was notorious for the bad word cussing. I used to follow dance, go everywhere, I'll park a back bush in a Portland, most in a Portland, because I just, you know, want to stay out too late, but at the same time, you want the dance hall experience. So Kingston now for us was kind of a different energy, because I saw a different kind of Jamaica, I saw a different energy that Jamaica had to bring for you as a youth, but we still embraced our friendship that we had growing up in school. So for me and Pele and Ferran, we still had this firm commitment as friends. But then we started to build new friends. And it was kind of funny now, because by this time now, the friends that you start to meet come from Kingston. And Kingston people believe the country people have no sense. And they were so surprised when they realized that we were in fact very bright, very erudite, very well spoken. They didn't understand that countryman understood the English language much more than they having grown up in the bright lights of the big city. So our journey continued, and we would come back and forth to Port Antonio, but for the most part, our experience at that point in time for the next 4 years was about embracing our new environment. So we will continue our talk, and we will keep you posted as to what's going on. But the sessions will continue. And as I say, life's journey takes us down some paths sometimes that we really don't want to trod, but we have to deal with it. And regardless of how you feel about certain things, we have to just, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The way we grieve about some things, it's kind of different. Some people kind of embrace it differently, but it's a must. Them says death are taxes. Some people actually escape the taxes, when you know one thing, you'll have to escape. So I end on a kind of somber note, but just kind of reaffirmation that we must embrace life in its fullest. When you say live today like it's your last day, just live. But remember, at the end of the day, in that process, do no harm. Yeah, man. And Paca say, wow, take it easy.